3 or 4 from that class, and I don't have any this time. It's kind of sad, because they're the ones that are actually totally ready. But fresco is, and it means fresh, and the painters of the Renaissance period thought, you know what, if we mix the paint with the plaster and it dries, the painting dries with the plaster, certainly it'll last forever. And what they didn't realize, of course, is that plaster chips. And so there are art students constantly trying to refurbish them and get them back to what they should look like as pieces fall off. But there are lots of frescoes, and when we go places where there are frescoes, there will be no flash photography. So you definitely, I'm going to tell you right now, the camera situation, if you can find a camera that has an eye hole, try to find one. Because it's very, very bright, and you know the deal, like if you get your phone out and it's too bright, you can't even see. So a lot of times you're pointing and shooting and you can't even get your picture frame because you can't see if the sun's shining on it. I don't know why they have done that. But if you can get one that is digital and has an eye hole, definitely try to grab that for yourself. But you have to be able to control the no flash, because for frescoes and things like that and regular paintings in the museums and things that we go in, they just don't want any, even in most of the churches, because the flash does wear the color down, and it's not good for the paintings at all. When we go to St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, they say, sure, take all the pictures you want. We're like, what? At the Vatican? But when you go in, you walk up to this huge, beautiful painting, and it's actually mosaic. None of the paintings in St. Peter's are actually paintings. They're all mosaic, and so you can't ruin them with a flash. And so that's about the only place they're going to let us. But I try really hard to get as much history on the different paintings and things that we're going to see. This one is really fascinating. I think it's in this little opening right here. And what happened was, where St. Mark died in the Holy Lands, the Muslims had his body and weren't going to take it back. And so this is the story of Christians going there and putting his body in a basket, knowing that if they covered him with pork, the Muslims wouldn't want anything to do with it, and that's this guy going, oh, get this out of here, get this out of here. And so that's how they were able to smuggle his body back to Europe. This is what the inside looks like, all over the cathedral. The whole cathedral is this amazing gold mosaics. And one of the things that happened, you guys, in 313 AD, Emperor Constantine, the Rome thing, Emperor Constantine actually legalized Christianity. Well, that wasn't a real popular move. And so he basically took the seat of Rome, his Rome, and he went to what was then Byzantium. It's now Istanbul, Turkey, and kind of hid out there for a while, okay? So when they come back, tons of what we're gonna see is actually gonna be Byzantine-influenced art. And these beautiful gold mosaics are definitely Byzantine. This is the sex. This is, on that side is the courthouse, and on this side is where you basically sat in a cell until they killed you. And there's this bridge, and we'll walk inside this bridge. You'll walk through, and I actually have a beautiful photo of my camera through one of these holes. But the prisoner would pass through here, and then where we are on the outside taking this picture is another little bridge across a canal, and that's where the family and friends would all go stand, basically to say goodbye as the prisoner walked across the bridge, and that's why they called it the Bridge of Sighs. Being Italian, they didn't sigh, they wailed and moaned and screamed and everything else. Yeah, just tasty. These pictures, obviously, I took out of my, sorry, but I didn't want to rip the pictures out of my scrapbooks, so I just did the whole thing. And these are, of course, extra Getty folk and those of us that were in Venice that year. This is an example of Byzantine artwork right here. Oh, I don't want to show you this yet. I don't want to show you this. So, yeah, no, that's all you get today. That's all we get today. So I have a series of videos that are like travel type videos, and the best one that I found for Germany, my poor families had to sit through all of them. We can go in the other room. This one happens to be about the Germany stuff. which is really cool. And the guy's name is Lee Maxa. And I'm not sure whether his stuff is available online or not, but it was one of those things I got at Costco that had all his travel videos in them. He's kind of the most, he and Rick Steves are really the two most informative ones. But we'll just watch this one on the Germany stuff. Bailey, can you get something like that that's on a TV screen onto the, will it pick it up?
I'm hoping so.
No. Oh, that's not what I did. Oh, it is what I did. Sorry. Walk 6 to 8 miles a day after what you eat.
Something is, the GPS is not getting this.
What's really cool is you just see so many, like you just walking along and you're like, this is kind of an Egyptian looking thing. Alright, here we go. Munich in Bavaria. Bavaria is basically the bottom half to a third of Germany. So if there's anything you want to write down that like you're curious, it flashed by too fast and you want some information on it, just get it to me and I'll research it for you.
Resonating with Wagnerian opera and Upa bands, and graced with extravagant castles and enchanted villages, Bavaria has a mystique all its own. Perhaps it's because this
You guys, this isn't a school
remained
video.
separate
You actually want to watch
until
this.
1918. The natives here consider themselves Bavarians first and Germans second. Munich, Bavaria's largest city, flows with beer, merriment, and tradition. This is a city of vitality, where locals spend their free time in beer gardens discussing politics and art while sipping frothy brews.
And not just a little bit. Notice that love.
Munich is the most popular vacation spot for northern Germans who are drawn to the relaxed atmosphere of the sunny south. Images of lederhosen, smoked sausages, and Frauleins in dirndl skirts still thrive. But there's also another side to Munich, one of sophistication and refinement. This wealthy urban center is justifiably proud of its great museums and
Where's
elegant
the
restaurants.
active traveler update list? Do we have that somewhere?
And with the recent boom in high-tech industries, Munich has become upscale and up-to-date. In today's Munich, you'll encounter a modern, cosmopolitan lifestyle against a backdrop of traditional Bavarian culture. The people here work hard and play even harder, savoring all the pleasures the city has to offer. Investigating some of those pleasures. After a side trip to the moving memorial at Dachau, we'll head south to the fantasy castle Neuschwanstein, and then on to the alpine villages of Oberammergau and Mischwald. This square has been the heart of Munich since the 12th century. For hundreds of years, Marienplatz was a hub where
This is
farmers
the
and
street where we're
merchants
gonna
came
be,
to
where
sell.
the street performers are. That's
The
the town
name
hall.
Munich comes from the German word for months, and indeed a monastery existed in the area all the way back to the 8th century. Heinrich the Lion, a powerful Saxon duke, founded the city in 1158 and named it for those early monk residents. Over the next century, Munich became home to the great Wittelsbach dynasty, a family that ruled Bavaria until the end of World War I. My daughter Sarah joined me on this trip. We're off to check out the famous Glockenspiel clock from the town hall.
Oh my god. That is terrifying.
Accompanied by jousting knights and dancing cougars, the Glockenspiel chimes its 43 bells several times a day. The mechanical marionettes perform scenes from the city's history. According to legend, it was the town's barrel makers who coaxed people out of their homes with singing and dancing to celebrate the end of the Great Plague.
Yeah, you will see lots of references to the play all over
This is
Europe.
where the main pedestrian streets come together, and many of the city's best attractions can easily be reached on foot or by hopping on and off trams.
That's a harpsichord, by the way.
The splendid residence, home of the Wittelsbach dynasty, was built between the 14th and 19th centuries. What started as a single castle expanded to an ever more vast complex. When King Ludwig I returned from a 7-month tour of Greece and Italy, he was so enamored of the architecture there that he vowed he wouldn't rest until Munich was as beautiful as Athens. Of course, this palace doesn't exactly look like a Parthenon. Building was a family tradition with the Wittelsbachs, and over a span of 600 years, successive generations created a cluster of palaces with 130 rooms around 7 courtyards. This courtyard holds a fountain made entirely of seashells. The treasury is one of the most stupendous collections of its kind in Europe. Magnificent displays of goldwork, enamels, carved ivories, and crystal reflect the Bavarian ruler's passion for collecting things. The highlight is his gold statue of St. George, covered with thousands of diamonds, rubies, emeralds, and sapphires. Bronze lions faithfully guard the outer walls of the residence, and locals when passing by always rub a lion's paw for good luck.
Rub the lion's paw for good luck.
There's
Our
frost.
Ladies Church is Munich's cathedral and chief landmark. Dating to the 15th century, the onion dome towers have become the symbol of the city. Embedded in the floor is the so-called Devil's Footprint. According to legend, the architect made a pact with Satan in order to get enough money to finish the church. The agreement was that he would build the church without a single window. When the devil approached the finished cathedral, he was certain he'd won the architect's soul, since, from the outside, there appeared to be many windows. But once inside, he was led to a spot where no window was visible. Stamping his foot in rage, the devil stormed off, leaving a footprint in the new pavement. Not far from the city center, Munich's vast English gardens are where Munchners kick back and relax.
You see,
Let's find hidden wolf.
also he has missiles.
More to the culture than yodeling beer.
Rocky mustard.
This is a sophisticated cosmopolitan city with terrific art galleries and museums, and we're off to check out a few. The Alta Pinakothek, which means Old Art Gallery, was part of King Ludwig I's scheme to class up the city. The colossal building was designed to hold the impressive collections amassed by the Wittelsbachs from the early 16th century onward.
And of course, these are all originals, guys. It's not like somewhere
It
here we can
features some of
see
the
it.
world's most
Real
important
good
paintings
copy.
by European old masters. You'll find such notables as Botticelli in his Lamentation of Christ,